travelling on water is one of the things that worries me the most. If something happens with no roads nearby, then, you know, you're on your own. The most frightening experience I've had on water was on the Essequibo River in Guyana, in South America. This was a real expedition, very, very uninhabited, and so we're totally self-contained. There's no real scope along the way to refuel, to stock up with food, so we've got everything with us. Got a crew of about 4 or 5 people, and then a number of local helpers as well, and loads of supplies, big drums of fuel. We'd navigated these rapids using a local guide. We're pressing on up the river, and then we became aware, we've been looking behind, suddenly there's nobody behind us.
Something's happened here, we're going back. We were going upriver, these boats hanging back, there's something happened.
Suddenly there's stuff floating around, and there's drums and things in the river. There's a couple of boats rafted together. Something's happened.
We were stopped in the middle of the river, and we'd spoken to the director in another boat, and he'd said it was okay for us to pack the equipment away. We had a long journey ahead of us. So Brendan, the cameraman, took his camera off his support rig. He stood up to stretch his legs. And I remember him saying, "That boat's gonna hit us." But by the time I looked up and turned around, the thing was on top of us.
I'm Jeremy Wade, and I'm revealing the secrets behind the filming of river monsters. We were on expedition in a remote region of Guyana, South America, when things took a dramatic turn for the worse.
Something's happened here, we're going back.
It looked like there had been a collision. It looked like one of the boats had been hit by another boat. Now, these boats are not just carrying people, there's a lot of equipment, so there's a lot of momentum behind a travelling boat. What we established pretty quickly was that actually the boat that was hit flipped. It dropped the cameraman and one of the other crew members into the water.
I swam to the surface, and there's just carnage, stuff everywhere, equipment. No Brendan. I called out his name, and nobody answered.
We spend so much time on boats that perhaps it was only a matter of time before something actually happened. First concern, people, is everybody okay?
The moment where I turned around and saw that the boat was going to hit us will probably live with me forever. It's difficult to remember the impact because I think we were all in quite a lot of shock. I was wearing a camera support device, which was a harness strapped onto me for filming handheld. And I've just released the camera from the harness. If I hadn't released the camera from the harness, I wouldn't be here now. I would have definitely drowned. Now, I can't really give a rational explanation of why I don't let go of the camera, but I can't. And I just sunk like a rock because of the weight.
All that gear attached to him, the camera itself weighs 30, 40 pounds, plus the rig that he's wearing.
And it's only when I get down to the bottom and I look back up at the silhouette of the boat that I realize, well, I have to let go of the camera.
I don't know how long he'd been down, but he was pale, he was gasping for air. He was really struggling on the surface of the water.
James saw that this was happening. Very quick thinking, got me out of the harness, got me onto a boat.
Although there was just this scene of mayhem, we did establish very quickly that everybody was all right. The fact that they're okay is a huge relief. I mean, the people you work with end up being your friends as well. You know, you really don't want anything to happen to them. So huge relief. I think if this kind of accident happened at home, you know, you phone up the garage, someone comes along, fixes the motor, you know, you take a day off, you have a cup of tea, all that. But we're basically there to make a film. We've got a very, very tight schedule, and we're losing time, you know. We've got to crack on, so we've got to salvage the stuff that we can. OK, we've lost our main camera, but we do have backup cameras. There's still stuff that we can do. You know, we've got a film to make, a river monster to find and catch. There weren't more incidents like that, but there was a lot more exhaustion on the route before we actually ended up getting what we wanted.